You know, our stories truly shape who we are. They shape our identity, our theory, the things that mean the most about us. I want to share with you an experience that changed my life over a period of time that led me into depression. I remember this being a day of skipping school on a joyride with some friends. As we traveled across town, it was a big school carnival going on. We was excited. I was excited, rather. And my friends had the music up as loud as, gosh, my head was banging. Like, man, turn it down. But as we pulled up to this school carnival, dark tinted windows, Honda Accord, and as we began to approach out of the vehicle, a gravel lot, as we look across, you can see a bunch of young people having such a good time. We're here for a carnival. The funnel cakes and the cotton candies have my stomach growling right about now. And as we begin to walk forward, the young people are having such a good time. My heart is beating for an excitement. But as we are briefly in the walk, my friend turns around and says, "We're here to get revenge." I'm confused. What do you mean, revenge? A prior few weeks before, he was jumped on by a group of guys at a basketball game due to some gang activity. I didn't know much about it. He had a gun in his back pocket, and he asked me to hold it. And as we began to walk forward, he said, as we approach, we're going to cause the big mess. My palms are sweaty and my heart is beating out of my chest at this point. I want to escape, but I can't. 5 hours later, I'm sitting in a juvenile detention. A juvenile detention, this dark place full of lost dreams and misery. I'm at a place where I'm depressed. I'm 17 years old with a Class A misdemeanor, and I'm a month away from being 18 years old, losing it all. This was the start of my mental health journey. The National Alliance of Mental Illness states that 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. will experience a mental illness in a given year. I worked in behavioral health for nearly a decade, and I remember this one conversation with a gentleman, Caucasian gentleman, roughly 40 years old. He had a long, big beard. He stood about 6 feet tall. And we was having a conversation. We had a conversation, and he had been struggling with bipolar, he said, nearly 2 decades. And his response to me was, "Lorenzo, do you know I've been dealing with this for a lifetime? That I don't care if you're black, brown, or white. This is a global issue." At that time, it took me in a place where I truly had to step back and ask myself, how important is this to me? Because I'm affected as well. But to know that 1 in 5 will be a part of that also. But let's not forget that 1 in 5 African Americans are less likely to receive treatment than the general population. That culturally, African Americans have a difficult time to access treatment. But better yet, poverty has stricken that issue. The racial injustices have not made it any better. May I add that suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death for African American males. That being the protector, the provider, the person of reverence and importance, that's what we live up to. When we don't reach those archetype levels, we lash inward. Better yet, we lash outward. We have outbursts. We've not created a way of having coping skills, and ultimately this affects our culture, our families, and those that we live, work, and play around. The cultural challenges haven't made it any better. Religion is at the top of the list. African Americans have only used mental health for a place of prayer. That we have only invested that into our pastoral council. That a simple walk to the altar is the best that it's going to get. But better yet, the Black family code. Culturally, oh yes, this is and has been a barrier. What goes on in this house must stay in this house. We may not share some of those dark things that are pushed under the rug. They have become whispering quarters where the conversation starts, but it stops. We've not found a place where safe havens have connected to these family codes and our religion. But I want to share something with you that's quite amazing. And it's going on right now to help some of these cultural issues, some of the issues that make it stricken for males and families. Stories are truly becoming a movement. And it is something going on out there where ambassadors are igniting their stories and changing individuals, transforming them to be their best selves. There are people across the globe at this time and here in America that is truly making a difference by their pain becoming their purpose. It is helping to eliminate the mental health stigma. It is truly becoming a catalyst for change through our stories. We feel the same now. That 1 in 5 becomes universal when we talk about sharing our stories and fueling that with true purpose. It helps to turn our pain into purpose. Being born in jail to an incarcerated mother. At 10 years old, being put into a mental health facility. At age 17, almost re-entering the system. Before I was 21, I lost both of my parents. Those are the stories, and people are using that to transform the mental health stigma. Storytelling is now a secret to move forward and push this through. It has become ways that we can overcome our obstacles, to turn real pain into purpose.